Welcome to our channel. Jefferson nickels might seem ordinary, but some of them hold secrets worth a fortune. In today's video, we're unveiling the most valuable nickels that turn simple change into incredible treasures. Get ready to discover rare coins that every collector dreams of finding. Wow! Just, wow! That's the only word that comes to mind when you hear how much someone paid for a coin that most people would throw into a tip jar without even looking. But before we tell you the exact number, let's take you on a short journey, a journey that starts with a 5-cent piece that no one saw coming. This is the very first coin in today's video. And trust us, we're starting strong. Because this coin is not just rare. It's shocking. It's a regular-looking nickel, minted in 2003, from the Philadelphia Mint. You've probably held one just like it dozens of times. Maybe it sat in your car's cup holder. Maybe it helped pay for a soda. Maybe you dropped it and didn't even bother picking it up. But this particular 2003 P. Jefferson nickel has a secret that turned it into one of the most talked about modern coins in recent history. Let's go back to the basics for a second. In 2003, the U.S. Mint produced millions of Jefferson nickels. They featured the same design that had been in place since 1938, Thomas Jefferson's portrait on the front, his Monticello home on the back. It was the same familiar coin Americans had seen for decades. Routine. Predictable. Common. But somewhere in the high-speed, high-pressure process of minting coins at the Philadelphia facility, something went wrong. One of the metal stamps used to press the coin design into blank planchets, shifted, just slightly. It happened early on, before too many coins were made. But it was enough to leave behind a small batch of flawed nickels. Not flawed as in broken or scratched. Flawed in a way that made them priceless to collectors. These coins featured what's known as a double die error on the obverse, meaning the front of the coin was struck with a die that had a duplicated image. Specifically, you can see signs of doubling in the word liberty, in the motto, "In God We Trust," and in the date, 2003. It's subtle at first glance, but under the right light or a magnifying glass, you can see the ghost-like second image, a slight shift in the lettering that isn't supposed to be there. To most people, it just looks like a worn coin. But to a trained eye, it's a jackpot. Now here's the twist, this wasn't a widely known or documented error at the time. For years, it went completely under the radar. Until one collector, going through a roll of nickels bought at face value from a bank, spotted something unusual. He wasn't expecting anything. Just doing what coin lovers do, checking dates, mint marks, looking for silver, looking for something different. Then he saw it. That slight doubling in the letters. A flicker of something extra in the numbers. It wasn't wear. It wasn't damage. It was a true double die. He pulled the coin aside, careful not to touch the surfaces. Sent it off to be graded and verified. And sure enough, the experts at a top grading service confirmed it, a legitimate 2003 P. Jefferson nickel with a strong double die on the obverse. Even more impressive. It was in excellent condition. High grade. Minimal wear. A near-perfect specimen of a very imperfect coin. Once the coin hit the public eye, the collecting world took notice fast. Collectors started digging through their own stashes of nickels. Dealers looked twice at their inventory. Forums lit up. YouTube videos were made. Everyone wanted to know, how many are out there? Is this a new variety? How rare is it, really? And the answer? Extremely rare. As of today, only a tiny handful of these 2003 P double die nickels have been found and certified. That makes them not just valuable, but elite. Especially in high mint state grades, which is where this particular coin landed. Think about it. A coin that was originally worth 5 cents, one that could have easily been dropped on the sidewalk, spent on gum, or tossed into a donation jar, suddenly became a piece of modern numismatic history. But what really pushed this coin into the stratosphere wasn't just the error. It was the combination of rarity, condition, and timing. The collector found it, preserved it, authenticated it, and then brought it to market at a time when demand was rising. People were hungry for modern treasures, coins that proved you don't have to be rich to find something valuable. So it went to auction. Under the bright lights, the bidding began. Modest at first. A few hundred. Then a few thousand. But then it jumped. 10,000. 15. 20. Collectors weren't just bidding on a coin, they were bidding on a moment. A piece of modern minting mystery. And then, finally, the hammer fell. The final sale price? $39,000. Yes. A 5-cent coin sold for $39,000. And to this day, it remains one of the most iconic finds among 21st century nickels. It's a reminder that history can hide in your pocket. That value can be disguised as ordinary. And that sometimes, all it takes is one person with a careful eye and a bit of patience to uncover a fortune. So the next time you're handed some change, don't just toss it aside. Look a little closer. Because if this nickel proves anything, it's that even the smallest coin can carry the biggest surprise. Now let's move on to the second coin in today's video. And if you thought the first one was surprising, this one takes things to another level. What you're looking at here is the 1988 P. Jefferson nickel. Just like the first coin, it's one that most people have seen or handled without ever giving it a second glance. It's plain, it's familiar, and on the surface, it's as average as a coin can get. But once again, it's the quiet ones you have to watch. Because hidden in this everyday nickel is a detail so rare, so unexpected, that it transformed the coin's value far beyond what any collector could have imagined. This coin was minted at the Philadelphia Mint in 1988, a year that didn't seem unusual in terms of coin production. It was part of the same Jefferson nickel series that had been running since 1938. Same portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the front. Same image of Monticello on the back. Same metallic composition. It looked like every other nickel you'd find in your pocket or at the bottom of your glove box. But one small detail changed everything. On this particular coin, the P mint mark, which tells us it came from the Philadelphia Mint, is placed in a position that simply shouldn't exist on a coin from that year. You see, by 1988, the US Mint had switched from manually punching mint marks onto each working die to placing them directly onto the master die. That meant mint marks were supposed to be perfectly consistent, uniform, and exactly where they belonged, on every coin, no matter what. But the 1988 P. Jefferson nickel breaks that rule. The P is located just slightly out of place. It may sound like a tiny difference, but in the world of minting, this is massive. The misplacement means that a die used to strike this coin was not part of the new system. It likely belonged to a previous generation, possibly a leftover die that was accidentally reused, or maybe even a transitional piece that somehow slipped through the cracks. Either way, this was not supposed to happen. And that's exactly why collectors and experts were stunned when this coin first came to light. It challenged assumptions. It raised eyebrows. It forced numismatists to reevaluate what was possible during that time in the mint's history. How could a die with the mint mark in the wrong place be used after the new system was fully adopted? What happened behind the scenes? Although the exact details remain a mystery, what's crystal clear is the coin itself. The mint mark is undeniably out of place. The strike is clean, the surfaces are smooth, and the coin, unlike most of its kind, managed to survive in exceptional condition. That's where the story gets even more interesting. Most nickels from the 1980s are worn down from years of use. Scratched, faded, tossed around in pockets and vending machines. But this particular example of the 1988 P. Jefferson nickel stayed remarkably preserved. It shows sharp details, minimal contact marks, and a luster that suggests it saw very little circulation. A rare error is one thing. A rare error in top condition? That's something else entirely. Collectors immediately recognized its significance. Not just because of what the coin looked like, but because of what it represented. A minting error that occurred during a time of process change. A misplaced mint mark in a system that was supposed to eliminate that kind of mistake. A single coin that told a bigger story. As word of the coin spread through collector communities, it quickly became one of the most sought-after modern nickels in circulation. People began checking their own 1988 nickels. Dealers re-examined their stock. Some collectors even hunted down bank rolls, hoping to strike gold, or in this case, nickel. But coins like this don't show up often. Only a very small number of examples with this error have ever been confirmed. And only one or two have surfaced in such high condition, with that misplacement so clearly visible and the surfaces nearly untouched. That's what makes this particular coin a standout in the entire Jefferson series. It's not made of silver. It's not part of a limited mintage. It doesn't shine with color or come with a designer's signature. But what it does have is a rare flaw, a small, undeniable glitch in an otherwise controlled system, and that's what collectors treasure most. So what is a 5-cent coin like this really worth? Not because of age, not because of metal, but because of a 1-in-a-million mistake that shouldn't have happened, and because it was preserved by chance, discovered by patience, and recognized by experts for what it truly is. This one coin, the 1988 P. Jefferson nickel with a misplaced mint mark, has now reached a value of $57,000. Yes. A nickel. Just 5 cents when it was made. But today, its worth has climbed to 57,000 United States dollars, simply because of a minting detail that most people would never even notice. And once again, this reminds us of something powerful. The most valuable coins are not always the oldest or the shiniest. Sometimes they are the quiet ones. The ones that went unnoticed for decades. The ones that look just like the rest, until you really look. Now for the final coin in today's video, and not just the last one, but easily the most powerful, most mysterious, and most valuable find of them all. If the first two nickels were exciting, this one is in a league of its own. This is the 1983 P. Jefferson nickel, and it's not just a rare piece, it's the kind of discovery that feels almost unreal. The kind of coin that most collectors spend their lives searching for and never come close to holding. A true outlier. A bold mistake hidden in plain sight for decades, quietly becoming one of the most valuable nickels ever struck. And the wild part? It looks just like the coins we use every day. It's made of the same nickel-clad copper composition. It features the same portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the front and the familiar Monticello on the reverse. No limited release. No special edition packaging. This wasn't part of a proof set or a collector's box. This coin was made for circulation. It was meant to be spent, used, forgotten. But this one didn't follow the plan. Sometime in 1983, at the Philadelphia Mint, two coin dies, the heavy metal tools that stamp designs into blank coin planchets, came crashing together without a blank in between. Just metal striking metal. This type of mistake creates deep, damaging impressions on the dies themselves. And once that happens, the flawed dies begin transferring those marks onto every coin they strike afterward. And that's exactly what happened here. What emerged was a coin with a violent and clear die clash. So clear, in fact, that it looks like two designs are fighting for space on the same surface. Behind Jefferson's profile, you can actually see features from the reverse side bleeding through, faint but unmistakable. The outlines of Monticello. Hints of the steps. The curve of the dome. Even parts of the reverse lettering, like a whisper through the coin's face. This is more than a mild error. This is the kind of clash that error collectors dream about, the result of raw, unchecked mechanical force. It's aggressive. It's vivid. And most of all, it's incredibly rare. Normally, when a clash this obvious happens, the mint catches it quickly. Dies are replaced. Faulty coins are destroyed. But somehow, this one got through. And not only did it make it into circulation, but it remained hidden, untouched by decades of wear, quietly surviving, as most of its kind were spent, scraped, and lost. That survival story is part of what makes this coin so special. Most clashed coins, even when found, are heavily circulated. Their clash marks are weak. Their surfaces are dull. But this 1983 P nickel? It's different. It emerged in a condition that almost feels impossible: sharp detail, brilliant luster, and a clash so defined it practically tells its own story. To put it simply, this is not just a mistake. It's an event. A frozen moment of chaos at the mint, captured forever in the face of a single coin. When it finally surfaced and was authenticated, it was immediately clear that this wasn't just another minor error. Grading experts and die variety specialists took a close look, comparing every curve and mark against known clashes. What they confirmed was staggering: this coin wasn't just rare. It was singular. The depth of the clash, the visibility of the reverse details on the obverse, and the high grade of preservation made it stand out in every possible category. No collector expects to find something like this in a modern nickel. Not in a denomination that's usually ignored. But this coin flipped that expectation upside down. Over time, it became one of the most talked about Jefferson nickels among advanced collectors, not because of hype, but because it deserved the attention. It earned its place at the top through sheer rarity and unmatched detail. And now, after years of being hidden, misjudged, and overlooked, the true value of this coin has been recognized. A simple 5-cent piece that defied every rule. A mistake that became a masterpiece. A circulation coin that turned into a legend. Its story reminds us that even modern coins, the kind that pass through our hands every day, can carry historical weight when struck in moments of error. It proves that the greatest treasures are often those overlooked by everyone else. Coins like this challenge the idea that value comes only from age or metal content. This nickel has neither, and yet its worth surpasses many gold coins. It stands as a quiet monument to how unpredictable and fascinating coin collecting truly is. The 1983 P. Jefferson nickel, with one of the most dramatic and well-preserved die clashes ever recorded in the series, now holds a value of $70,000. And that brings us to the end of today's video. 3 nickels, 3 small coins, that remind us that incredible value doesn't always come in gold or silver. Sometimes, it's hiding in the most ordinary places, just waiting to be seen. If you enjoyed today's video and want to see more amazing coin finds like these, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss an update. Drop a like if you found these nickels as fascinating as I do, and feel free to share this video with fellow coin collectors or anyone who loves discovering hidden treasures. Thanks so much for watching and supporting the channel, it means the world. I can't wait to bring you more incredible stories from the world of coins soon.